happens.
All right.
All right, just as a disclaimer, if you're watching the beginning of this feed, I am broadcasting from a MacBook. That's not a MacBook Pro. That's not a MacBook Air. That is a MacBook. I apologize for the video signal in advance. We are over Wi-Fi, and I am a dongle whore over USB 3 to connect my cameras. So, hey, we're live.
Hey! All right.
All right. So I'm going to try to record this. I'll probably post a better stream later on, but welcome to Talking Heads.
Nice.
Live on location from Barrel and Keg in downtown Salem, Oregon. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome. This is episode 6. I said episode 4 last time because I'm a dumbass and I can't count apparently. I forgot Rhett and I did one at the bar.
At the bar,
long time ago. Yeah, like 3 months ago. So, John, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking Fathead's Fresh Hop. I believe it's for speed.
Oh, let me interrupt you. Oh, that's good.
Built for speed, yes. Built for speed. It's a Fresh Hop IPA, 6.5%.
Nice. So I am drinking the 54 degrees by 40 feet or 5440 Brewing Company half-cocked IPA. Really crisp IPA. And it is it doesn't tell me the...
I think it's 6.5%.
I think it's also 6 or 6.5. Really solid. Yeah. That is delicious.
No, I really enjoy this beer, the Fathead one.
Yeah.
I could drink it almost any event, barbecue, at home. 6.5% is nice. It's that nice craft beer medium to where I probably could have 3 bottles or so and still be pretty happy with myself instead of a 9% double IPA.
Totally. I will admit, John, you just pulled up. I actually already had I had an Oakshire 9%. I forget which one that was. Yeah, ill-known. That was delicious.
That's a winter ale, yeah.
And I texted you a photo earlier. I had a peanut butter stout. I don't remember the brewery on that one, though. And it blew like two cups after.
So how dare you not give me some?
Yeah.
Oh, no, there is a stout up there.
So...
is calling my name.
Yeah, so this is my third beer tonight.
So I have to catch up is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, well, we got fries, so there we go.
Oh, yes.
I apologize if I crunch into the microphone. Kinda. These are delicious.
Oh.
But that's what you get for an on-location shoot. I get fries, I get cold beer, and better stuff than I can buy in a bottle. Not a bad way to do it.
No, it's a nice little compromise between quality of video. Sorry for the viewers, but it's more pleasurable for us.
That totally. I'm what matters. I don't know if you guys knew that. I don't even care about John.
No one does.
I mean, he's lucky I'm sharing the fries.
Yeah.
All right. Beer news today.
Shout out.
Oh, no, shout out. You're right. Thank you.
Shout out.
So I'm going to give a quick shout out to a company that I found probably about 4 months ago called kurokesu.com. This guy is a guy named Salius, and he is located in Lithuania. He makes a 100% replacement housing for the Logitech C920. It's a great quality webcam, gets you 1080p, really crisp image for the most part. What he does is he takes the C920, you take it apart yourself. This comes as a kit. He gives you an aluminum housing for the camera, and you can add CS or C-mount lenses to this camera. C-mount lenses are what was used on the old 16mm Super 16 cameras. So that takes the crappy Logitech lens, plastic lens, and gets you really good quality glass.
Nice glass, yeah.
That is actually the camera we're using tonight. Sorry for the little cascade effect there.
Cool it is.
Yeah. But that is actually the camera we're using tonight. I'm really impressed with this little kit.
It's huge. I mean, just the lens and everything, the light that's coming through, the quality we can see.
Here's one of the lenses I've got. This is actually a zoom lens. This is a 2.8 to 12 millimeter. It's an f1.4, and this one actually has a mechanical aperture on it as well. This is the kit lens that he sent over to me. Had a couple focus issues with this one, so I'm not using this one tonight, but I do have a couple prime lenses that I got just off Amazon. I've got a 4, a 6, and an 8 millimeter for, I think, $20. Good quality glass lenses.
Can't beat that. I mean, well, how much was the kit?
The kit was $68 plus another, I think, $14 for the infrared filter that goes on it.
You probably got a $200-300 camera, right? You know, on it. So for maybe what, $140 total for everything?
Exactly. Yeah, it's $50 for the C920. You're into it another $70 for for that, and then. Like I said, I bought a set of 3 prime lenses for this. Yeah. I'm really impressed with the quality.
Yeah, it's really nice compared to...
You guys are seeing some stuttering tonight, and I'm only broadcasting in 720p, but the sharpness is much improved over the stock C920. And I'll get into this later on. The macro quality is insane.
Is it?
It has a focus distance of less than 1 inch.
Wow, that's actually
so when I'm trying to talk about board components and things like that from now on, that's going to be the camera I use. It'll also be our camera on live shoots. So again, thank you for Kurokasu for sending that out. There's a link down in the video description. Should already be live on the channel. So thank you. And and a full review of this camera kit is coming as well, with some nice close-up shots of me putting it together, and a review of the lenses that you can use, and you know, like I said, just putting the thing together. It was a lot of fun. Really fine soldering work. He also, like I said, it comes as a kit. You have to do some really fine soldering work. He also has what he calls a reworked kit already. So he will send you a completed camera with a C920 already inside of it.
Oh, that's not bad.
So
yeah.
And that was, gosh, how much was that? The complete reworked kit. His enclosure kit is $68. I think the rework kit is like $150. Don't quote me on that. I'll like I said, in the full review, I'll give actual prices.
If it's anywhere near that, though, that's basically the same cost as just buying the camera and the kit.
Exactly.
And he's doing the work for you.
Exactly. So, yeah, it ended up being a really solid deal and a solid option for streamers here. Yeah. So, if you're chatting, I will try to keep up with you. Like I said, I'm broadcasting from a laptop tonight, so I've only got the one screen. We'll try to keep up. All right, beer news. Let's get on to beer news. And this one's actually local to us. This is the City of Portland versus
Old Town Brewing.
Old Town Brewing.
Old Town Brewing, yeah. Old Town Brewing is part of the Old Town Pizza, which has been around since the 70s in Portland.
73, 74, something like that.
74, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And they went and filed the patent for their logo. And I think like 2010 or something around that, 12.
Yeah, 2012.
2012.
Yep.
And they got the patent for the trademark. Mm-hmm. And their trademark logo is the stag that the city of Portland uses for their logo.
Yep.
And the city of Portland has never trademarked it.
Right. For those of you who don't know, actually the University of Oregon owns that sign.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of fingers in this pie. Okay, so if you've ever come across the border from Washington to Oregon via, it's I-5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember which bridge it was. It's the
I think it's Broadway or
Burnside
Bridge.
Bridge. Yeah, if you've ever come over the Washington and Oregon border on the Burnside Bridge, you will see the giant "Welcome to Oregon." I think it says "Made in Oregon." It has the outline of the state. It has "Made in Oregon," and then it has the giant stag facing in a right-facing profile, leaping over the state. Really cool sign, really iconic, and it sits right in the middle of downtown. There are so many fingers in this trademark. In this dispute. It's insane.
Yeah.
Well,
one of the other big things right now that is that Old Town Brewing is now part of InBev.
Yeah.
Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah.
Budweiser. And so...
Or no, they're not. The city of Portland was trying to sell the rights to the logo to InBev.
Oh, yes. So, Oregon being the craft beer mecca that it is, it was like, no.
Yeah.
We do not want our state or our breweries associated with that company.
Exactly. Yeah, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. We're not fans of InBev here.
No.
I've never had a Budweiser in my life.
Oh, I've had plenty of. I think I was 11, possibly 12.
Yeah.
I found some in a ditch, and honestly, it still has the same flavor that came out of a ditch as it does fresh.
Yep. So, anyway, the whole dispute is Old Town Brewing patented this the jumping stag logo, which you can see on this guy's shirt here. This is their logo that they use, and it's the jumping stag.
Yeah. Not the state, not
the state outline, not the city. Those are not patentable, not trademarkable.
No.
Just the jumping stag. But like I said, the University of Oregon, I believe, actually owns that sign, and it's a very common thing to see when you're coming over the Burnside Bridge into Portland from Washington. And so it's well known with the city. The city has since applied for a patent on the stag, the outline of the state, and the city name. They were rejected because it was too generic.
Yeah.
The city wants desperately, number one, to own the trademark for the entire logo, not just the jumping stag, which is what Old Town Brewing owns, but they also want to license that logo to InBev. And and they actually did sell a license to InBev for that logo, to which Old Town Brewing had to send a cease and desist to InBev to get them to stop using it because Portland City doesn't own that trademark. So, like I said, we're not fans of InBev. We're not fans of them coming in and buying our breweries. We're not fans of them, I'd say, being in the city, but...
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it gets really complicated, but in a general sense, yes, I am not a fan of InBev coming in and buying and saying, "Oh, we're a craft brewery. We love craft brewers." No, they majority of the time seem to make things worse,
right?
And try to make it really hard to make a decent quality beer for a lot of smaller industry stuff. And the city of Portland and Old Town. Old Town has been around for a long time, the brewery.
Yeah.
And even just, like I said, the company, because they started off as a pizza place, it in itself is a staple of Portland. It's really sad to see something like this going on in Oregon and Portland especially. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a huge dispute. Portland has, like I said, applied for the patent 3 separate times and been denied 3 separate times by the U.S. Patent Office. Again, because their logo is too generic. They cannot trademark a sign owned by someone else. They cannot trademark the outline of a state. They cannot trademark a city name. Yeah. And one of their trademark pieces is already owned by Old Town Brewing.
I actually believe a friend of mine has one of those cups.
Oh, yeah, really? Yeah. So, anyway, what the city of Portland right now is attempting to do is basically bleed this guy dry financially. They keep appealing in the court system. Old Town Brewing says they are tens of thousands of dollars into lawyers' fees for fighting this.
And we know that they're probably not going to win, or if they do, they're going to end up suing the city of Portland.
Exactly.
And if they countersuited, they would probably win.
Yep.
I think they would.
Yeah, and there's been so much that's come out recently. The only reason this is public is because he's running out of money to fight it.
Yeah, and easily I would start a campaign with beer or something like that. This city of Portland would so back him, and we want to talk about the Portland riots and everything like that. Yeah. This would be a big riot.
Yeah, no kidding. Look up Old Town Brewing, look up City of Portland. You know the sign. Like I said, if you've ever been across the bridge.
If you've ever even seen like a survey that says, Oregon, so cool about this, or visit Oregon because of this, you will see a picture of that sign because everyone uses that sign to symbolize Oregon or downtown Portland.
If you buy a shot glass in the state of Oregon, it either has Crater Lake, Spencer's Butte,
which, it's funny. I see a stag on a lot of things.
Yeah,
so,
or the stag. Those are the 3 things you see.
And I wonder if he gets royalties from any of that.
Yep.
But, and most of these places, they're really nice people. They're just like, hey, leave me alone. As long as you're not trying to make a huge profit off of me.
Well, the issue was the city of Portland started licensing for beer paraphernalia for glasses, for growlers, for growlets, for things like that.
With Anheuser-Busch.
And again, with patent law, you can use the same logo, you can use the same name, you can use the same branding, as long as you don't compete in the same space.
Yeah.
And Portland was selling hats, and they were selling shirts, and they were selling other things. But the problem is they licensed beer glasses and growlers. And things like that. And that's where they stepped over the patent line. And now they're trying to push this small brewery back on the patent ownership.
Yeah.
And like I said, they're just trying to keep it held up in litigation and trying to bleed this guy dry.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't like InBev, and I'm really disappointed with the city of Portland for doing this.
Yep.
So. Now for some more lighthearted.
Something entertaining, fun. What beer is meant for?
Yeah, exactly. I'm ashamed to say this. InBev is actually the number 1 drank beer by this sport.
Well, it's basically water.
By a wide shot.
Well, it's basically
by a long
water.
shot.
And I would assume that because, the popularity, they need something cheap. InBev probably needs to, they give maybe a sponsorship or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the Gatorade of beer.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. It's totally what I would drink after a mile.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
It would have to be a really hot day and a really cold beer.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, so we are talking about the beer mile. This showed up on Reddit / the Ocho, which is a great subreddit. If you've got 2 hours to kill, go check out the Ocho. Anyway, this is the beer mile, beermile.com. What this is a competition. It's an international competition.
It's got records and everything.
There's an organizing body behind it. I've known about this for a couple years, but it popped up recently again on Reddit, as it does from time to time. This is a competition where it's a 1 mile race, and you have competitors start at the starting line, just like a normal sprint. Right here. Here we go. So they start like a normal sprint. There's one guy called the Rabbit. You see that one guy running off to the left? His job is to not drink any beer and to complete a mile normally.
The average person.
The average person. So he actually runs a 4:45 mile here, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, pretty nice.
The rest of the competitors, before they start their first lap, they have to drown a 12 ounce of beer of choice. And there's actually an approved beer list. It must be over 5% ABV.
Yes.
And it cannot be opened before they approach the beer.
Now, clarify. Bud Light does not count.
Bud Light does not count.
No.
That's only 3.7.
Yes.
Let's be clear about
Yes.
that. Budweiser does count. That is a 5.2,
Yes.
if I remember correct.
Just barely.
Just barely. And it is also the number one beer in this competition. So basically what this competition is the starting gun sounds. You run to the table. You open your beer. You down your beer. You then run your first lap.
Yes.
You get back to the starting table. You grab another beer. You down another beer. You run your second lap.
Yeah.
You do this 4 times to complete a mile.
There are stipulations, though.
There are stipulations. There's a whole set, like I said, there's a whole set of governing rules behind this. There's a governing organization, and this is an international competition. So each competitor must drink 4 cans of beer, run 4 laps, ideally on a track. Beer must be consumed before the lap is begun, and I'd say in a 10-meter zone on the 400-meter track. So you can only drink within 30 feet of the starting line.
You can't just take off running and chug while you're running.
Right. Originally, women could drink 3 beers in the competition. Now it's been up to 4. So women have to drink the same amount as men. Equality.
Everyone wants to be fair.
Everyone wants to be fair. Competitors must drink canned beer, and the cans should not be less than 355 millimeters or 12 ounces, depending on your
substitute.
Exactly. You can use bottles as long as they meet those standards. No specialized cans or bottles can be used, and no advantage by allowing a pour amplifier, I guess you can call it.
Like a big wide mouth.
You can't use a wide mouth bottle. You can't use the Miller Vortex cans. Yeah. You can't use the anything that gets the beer into your mouth faster is pretty much a no-no.
Now, see, I did think of this, though. So when I did see that rule, but as far as a bottle, though, I've noticed that if you do make your own Vortex...
Totally.
I do wonder if that counts. Or
I bet you could siphon it yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if you do that.
Because I do that when I clean out beer bottles at home and growlers and things like that. You fill it with water, you give it a little shake, and you get that spiral down.
And it makes a vortex.
Exactly. So
we got some record holders though, and I think America was number 1.
America's number 2.
Oh,
you'll never guess number 1. Who's number 1? Canada.
No.
Canada.
How is Canada number 1?
By 13 seconds.
Damn, it's because they probably sit there and just do this in the snow, and then when they're here in America or somewhere halfway in the 40 degrees, they're like, oh my gosh, I need to drink because it's so hot.
Right.
They're sweating.
So yeah, the record holder is a guy named Corey Belmore. He's Canadian, and he did a 4-lap beer mile, which is like I said, a 12-ounce can in between each lap in 4 minutes 33 seconds, 0.6, which is a pretty respectable time.
Honestly, I don't know if I could do that right now. Just go and do that in a mile.
Now, I've mentioned on the show before, I'm fairly tall. I'm 6'4".
Yeah.
I have a very long stride. I was a long distance runner for a short amount of time in high school. My fastest lap time, or my fastest mile time, was 4:42.
Yeah.
I was a decent high school runner. I'm not approaching 4-minute mile. I'm not approaching 4:30, but I was competitive within my high school.
And
Right, exactly. he did this with downing 48 ounces of beer in 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
That guy hustled.
Yeah.
But as far as the beers, so we have Budweiser is way ahead as the most popular beer.
Yeah, we'll show this over here. This is the number of beers consumed in a competition, and this is the top 10 list. I think they have a whole list of approved beers that's like 600 beers long.
Yeah.
It's impressive. Budweiser is the far and away choice. I said, they're 5.2%.
Yeah.
Like I said, the bare minimum you can do is 5.0. You have to have a 5% ABV.
Wow.
And so you're going to see a lot of Budweiser, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Miller High Life, Coors, Heineken, Canadian.
I wouldn't drink any of these.
No.
I don't
care how cold they are.
I know. It's just, I'm just thinking to myself, that tastes horrible. That tastes horrible. I'm like,
yep.
I wanted an elite version of this that does like the double IPA mile.
Yeah.
The 9%.
Let's just say I run a full mile and someone hands me a lukewarm Budweiser that's been sitting out in the sun for an hour during this competition, or a glass of piss.
Yeah.
I'd probably drink the glass of piss.
Probably. We should do like a Dark of the Moon one, and you have to run at night, and then you only drink stouts.
Yeah.
Oh, the heaviness, the creaminess.
Oh God, can you imagine like a 12% milk stout or something like that? Oh. I'd do one lap and take a nap. I don't care what my time is.
I know.
This is solid.
See, I'm gonna have to go sign out really quick and catch up to Jeff.
Go top yourself off. I'll get into the news. You can catch up. So, bear with me. These are really good fries too. Barrel and Keg, downtown Salem. Fantastic beer, fantastic food. While I got a second here, I'll actually show. They are not only a tap house, they are a full bottle selection. They have some of the most unique beers in the area that you can actually buy bottled and take home. You don't have to have growler. You don't have to have anything different. Just buy a 6-pack and go home. It's a pretty cool deal. Anyway, let me move on here to some other news that we have. We'll get into tech news here real quick. So HTC made some news this week. With we knew this was coming. I talked about this either last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't remember which one it was. But HTC announced in China that they were doing a standalone headset. They didn't have a name. They didn't have any specs besides it was using a Snapdragon 835. It is now official. HTC announced earlier, was that yesterday or Monday? I think Monday, late Monday, that they are doing a standalone VR headset. I'm a little underwhelmed if I'm really being honest here. It's decent hardware. John, what did you get? You bought it in a tulip, so I know it's probably 9 or higher. 12? 13?
12.1.
12.1. Solid.
It is Epic's.
You got the Epic. Okay.
Big Bad Baptist batch number 89.
Yeah.
Barrel aged. Oh my gosh, this is
bourbon barrel aged.
You taste the bourbon.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
It's like bourbon and chocolate. It's not super thick, but it's not thin either. Oh, it smells fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I really thought about one of those, but I got to drive home tonight, man.
Well, I figure between the amount that you had with the one I've had and this, basically leveled it out probably.
Yeah. Well, no, I started with a 10.
Okay.
I started with 10.5.
Okay.
So.
Well, I'll go grab a Pilsner after this, and then we'll be fine.
There you go. I'm going to finish the IPA, and I might grab something else. We'll have to see here.
See.
So we're talking about the HTC standalone headset.
The Focus.
Yeah, the HTC Focus.
Oh, my God. That thing looks horrible, though.
It looks god-awful.
It looks horrible.
It's just terrible.
I saw that. I was like, wow, this looks like a Japanese.
And on a side note, I cannot decide if this guy looks 26 or 62. I can't decide.
Oh, I'm sorry, but he looks like he just had Botox.
Right. Like he could have
right over the forehead.
Yeah, there's a line right there. I don't know what it is. I don't know how old this guy is.
It could just be bad makeup, but yeah, it's not a good shot.
Yeah, it's not a good shot. Anyway, I was just getting into, we knew a couple of weeks ago that it was going to use a Snapdragon 835. That was announced in China a couple weeks ago. I'm a little underwhelmed to know that it is a standalone headset. It's got decent hardware in it. It does have inside-out tracking, but only for the headset.
Yeah.
It does not have tracking for the handsets, for your controllers.
It's meant for basic VR only.
Right. Well, it's meant for VR only.
But
you don't have 6 degrees of freedom on your hands.
You don't. No, it's a sit down, and I can walk forward and backwards. That's about it. Probably.
Right. To me, this is a half step above a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Above a Gear VR, above a...
I'm actually kind of surprised that they don't come out with a decent headset that would attach to a Gear VR,
right.
A cell phone, and just say, oh, look, we have the exact same capability.
Right, we have the same thing that Oculus and Samsung have been doing.
I mean, mobile phones, the brand new ones that are coming out basically almost have the exact same hardware specs as this.
Right.
And they all come with, if you buy it, they'll come with the controllers too. The exact same one that they're selling with this.
Yeah,
not super impressed when I read this article. I was like,
when I hear that the Samsung Odyssey is coming out, which is a standalone 6 degree of freedom inside out for both your hands and your head tracking. It's going to come out third quarter 2018, and it's supposed to be $500. That's a cool announcement. This, if you're announcing it 4 weeks after Samsung announced their headset, and you're announcing it with worse specs. I'm
disappointed. They didn't announce the price either, did they?
They didn't announce the price. If this is $150, sure.
It's going to be a Christmas present.
And from the looks of it, God, I hope it's only $150 because that thing looks terrible.
It looks so front heavy too.
I mean, look at that. The strap is way up on the front of your head, and then you got one on the back. It had better be light. That's all I can say.
I mean, that's meant to almost like I'm going to have to sit there and constantly look up.
Yeah.
So it stays on my face,
right.
Or just super tight.
Right. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's a good device. I hope this isn't a detriment to the VR community.
Well, I think no matter what, you're going to get bad ones and good ones. And because it's such still technically a new technology and it's still new gaming stuff.
Right.
That's just what you're going to get.
Right.
Possibly they might be going for a third-party application and just showing that, hey, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe more of a ride aspect or something.
Yeah, if this is just a hardware launch, something to get VR developers excited, something to get, like I said, if it's $150, I think it's a decent deal. I don't want to be misjudged there or misheard there. I think at a cheap price point.
I'm sorry, but there is a guy outside dancing.
Oh, he is dancing in the street.
Yeah. And it's raining. It's Oregon right now in November. It is pouring down rain.
Yep.
And
it has been storming for 5 days.
I'm sorry, but I had to point that out. It was just so odd to see.
He was standing at the stop line.
Yeah. He did a 360 twirl and everything.
Yeah, he had moves.
He did.
I won't say he didn't.
I will say it's better than mine, but
yeah. But anyway, if this does end up being more of a budget headset, I'm okay with that.
I can see that too.
If this is an entry-level point to VR, if this is just the mobile headset without the need for a $400 phone or the $100 add-on or something like that, I think that's okay.
Yeah, it's going to get kids into it. It's going to get the impulse purchase.
Something in my gut tells me this is going to be $300 or $350.
I was going to say $299.
$299, $349.
Yeah,
it's going to be somewhere in there. I'm not feeling it. I'm just not.
But speaking of overpriced VR, the next one I have a feeling is going to be overpriced.
You think? You think?
It's going to be way overpriced.
John, you've been studying my notes for transitions, have you not? Apple is this has been rumored for quite a few years, but there's starting to be some meat to that rumor.
Yeah.
Apple filed for a patent for a standalone headset a couple years ago, and it never materialized into anything. Now there's
rumors.
There's a lot of rumors, and there's actually confirmed rumors that this patent is owned by Apple. That Apple is working on an augmented reality headset due for 2020.
I mean, it's 2020 though.
Yeah,
2020.
Well, it's moving at the speed of Apple.
Yeah. And then when they release it, they're gonna be like, "This is God's gift to to VR.
That's right.
And it's gonna be twice the price of a probably HTC Vive that's then which used will probably be like $199 now. Then it's
one could hope.
Oh, but
I'll say yes and no. Here's my counterpoint to that is Apple just entered the augmented reality business with their AR kit for the iPhone X, and it's compatible with I believe down to an iPhone 7, and they went from a fringe user to the market leader.
Yes. I will say that,
when Apple gets its engineers in line and slapped into shape, and they actually devote time and resources and energy to doing something, they do a damn good job. And shame on you if you think otherwise. Their laptops are beautiful, but they take 4 years to build. I'm still waiting on a Mac Pro that's more recent than 2013. We finally got Pascal graphics 2 years after they were announced.
Yeah.
Apple is typically behind, but also ahead of the trend. There's a reason you see a lot of aluminum-built laptops is because Apple started building them out of aluminum unibodies in 2009. And the rest of the market caught up in 2012. However, the rest of the market also passed them in hardware in 2010.
And to me, Apple is a status brand.
Yes.
It is a status brand.
Yeah.
And you're paying for that status. I mean, it's not that they're not good brands. Yeah. They are. They are a tried and true. If you have Apple, it's going to be great. But the problem is you have to have all Apple.
Right. That's one thing I don't like. Like I said, I'm an Apple user. I've been on the boat for a while here. Not because I'm an Apple fanboy, simply because I just like the things to work, and I'm not an enthusiast when it comes to my mobile hardware.
Yeah.
I need a phone to make phone calls and check email and surf Reddit. I don't do a lot on my phone. But as far as it just works. It really does. But that being said, they are typically a little bit behind in a lot of aspects for phones. And they're behind in a lot of aspects for laptops. I mean, my laptop, which is brand new, gosh, it uses a modern Core i7, but I think the MacBook Air still has a 1366 by 768 screen.
And then what price is that MacBook Air?
And that MacBook Air is still $1,400.
Exactly.
Right. Whereas I can get the equivalent PC, maybe not as good at build quality, but equivalent PC for about $500.
Exactly.
So there's something to that. I really hope Apple does a good job with the AR kit, with whatever headset or glasses or whatever they have coming out.
And that's what I think. I just really hope they don't play it off like almost like the Apple Watch, to where it's the thing that's going to defy your life. And the name that's on this article, the II. I mean, I just laugh, but it's like almost. I'm betting Apple would do that.
God.
Would be. Let's have the II. It's going to be the greatest technology in the world.
The Futurama iPhone where they pull your eyelid back.
Yeah. I mean, actually, at the same time, though, if they did possibly, I was a fan of the idea of Google Glass. Mm-hmm. I was not a fan of the design. I was not a fan of, there was a lot of bugs.
Did you ever use one?
No, I never got to use it. I signed up to be a beta programmer.
An explorer.
Yeah. But I was a couple thousand people short before they sent me my free eyeglass.
Right.
But I would almost laugh if they changed the name to Eyeglass.
That's not a bad name. Not a bad name.
That would just kind of like stick it to Google and be like, F you, we did it better.
Yeah, the Eyeglass.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, actually. I did use Google Glass. I knew a couple of people who had them. I did try them out. I tried one out extensively on a road trip. That's where it sold me. I was more interested in my professional use in more like a wearable. I was a Pebble user for a long time where I would get an email and I'd be able to see the title of that email on my wrist.
Yep.
And I'd go, do I have to respond to that now or can I wait 20 minutes? I can wait 20 minutes and I can mute the notification and move on with my life.
Yeah.
It saved me so much time, 5 seconds at a time. When I was wearing Google Glass, there was a couple aha moments. One, when I had to take a picture of something for documentation in my day-to-day work, whether it's computer tech work or whatever else, or just a quick note to myself or to someone else, hey, this is what I did in this location this day. I tap my temple, and I have a picture, and I can send it to anyone.
Yeah.
And it was, to quote Apple, it was magic. The other aha moment was GPS navigation.
Now that's what I wanted to try it for, was actually like the GPS navigation or the walking aspect, because the video demo that they showed, I was like, that is cool.
Yeah. As a wearable in the car, it was amazing. Where I could say, okay, Google, give me directions to this destination. And in my eye, just above my peripheral vision, I would see a 3D layout map that overlays over what I'm seeing. And it was just a grid that kind of sits on, it's kind of hard to explain, but think of if you're looking at a map down, you're holding a map like this, and you kind of look up and you can see the street above you. It was that, but it was, like I said, just above your periphery. And as you turned, the map turns with you. And your perspective can change as you're rotating your body and as your car is turning. And you get those notifications. You get a little buzz on the back of your ear right here when you need to make a turn. It talks very quietly to you, but you can hear it while still having a normal conversation in the car. And it doesn't distract you from anything within the car.
Yeah.
And that was magic. It really was. Like I said, that and the notification features, the... I just got an email in. Oh, I can deal with that later. Click.
Oh.
It was cool. So I was a big... God, I hope it makes it for the visual wearables.
I was never a fan, though, of how it looked. It still looked chunky. I saw a lot of articles of, people wearing it, and there's the whole privacy issues and everything like that. What I really don't like now, too, is they're still super expensive. They're still over $1,000 to go and buy one.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous. I mean, if they're not going to continue using it, just throw them out there. Try to make some money off it. But slightly back to the Apple one, I don't know if it's going to be a standalone item. They don't know if it's going to be part of integrated into your phone. I don't think it's going to be a phone thing. I think it'll be a wearable item. So I don't know what Apple's going to do with it.
Yeah.
But I also think 2020 is a little late in the game. I mean,
well, who else has a wearable right now that's augmented reality?
These are all rumors.
These are all rumors.
With patents, yes, but they're just throwing a patent out there.
But typically with Apple, you'll see something 2 years in advance, and then 2 years later, you got a product in your hand. We knew facial recognition was coming with 3D mapping in 2014. And then in 2017, I've got a phone in my hand that maps my face in 3D and can unlock my phone by smiling at it. With Apple, they put things into their devices that no one else has, that they say they're going to put in 3 years later, and then the rest of the industry catches up. And the rest of the industry puts things in their phones that make perfect common sense, and then Apple catches up 3 years later themselves.
Yeah,
it's a cat and mouse game both ways. It
is a cat and mouse. It is literally. It's actually very similar to the console wars. If anyone is a big console gamer, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, everyone does one thing. It's usually Nintendo comes out with something mid between the Xbox and the PlayStation. And the Xbox and PlayStation kind of take a little bit from that.
Project Scorpio.
Yeah, oh gosh. That's just the way it goes. I think that's exactly the same thing, like you said, with Apple and Android and possibly other devices.
Yep.
Yeah. Unfortunately. But
yeah.
There's never going to... I just hate that both companies, even Android, do, this is the best end-all to end-all. I want an honest company. I just said, you know what? Here's a decent price for a
pretty solid phone.
Yep, that's what I want. Just like... This is not the best, but you know what? This is going to last you 5 to 10 years.
I mentioned that last week. Did you see the Razer phone?
Yeah, I did. I did take a look at that.
I'm really thinking about that.
Really?
I am.
I was like, okay, if I was a big mobile gamer, but I'm not. I'm not a big mobile gamer.
I'm not a mobile gamer. What I appreciate about the phone was it was built going, we want to make a solid phone.
And I think they wanted to make a solid phone to play games, though. It's great camera, great screen, great processor,
what they want is to make a solid phone that plays games. What they ended up doing was building a solid phone.
They built a solid phone, but if you take a look at the screen and the front, it's too small for me. It looks like a phone built 4 to 5 years ago.
It's 5.5 inches, or what John would call 6.5 inches.
That's exactly what I call 7 inches. You have to measure also the battery and girth and the wire cord at the charger.
Oh, it's all about girth.
It's all about girth.
All about girth.
Yeah. 6 inches girth.
See, I can degrade my stream into dick jokes. I'm not above that.
At least it doesn't have a dongle in it.
That's right. Shut up.
It has a beefy USB 2.0 in it.
You should see the dongle I got going on right now. Tell you what, I will switch over to the dongle I got going on right now. That is the dongle I've got. There we go. So I've got a USB-C to additional USB-C plus an HDMI plus a USB. And because I only have one USB-A, I have that tapped into a 3-port USB 3.0 adapter. That is my broadcast situation right now, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's working.
And it's working.
Kind of.
And it's working well. I've got 2 cameras hooked up. I've got 2 cameras and a mix board hooked up.
Yeah.
And the jittering you're seeing is both attributed to the single core speed on the MacBook as well as the kind of shoddy Wi-Fi I've got here.
It's a tap room.
It's a tap room.
You know, speaking of tap room, just another quick shout out to Barrel and Keg. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
This is a great place. I've known Kelsey, who's the bartender right here. She's kind of like the manager. She buys all the beers.
She was in one of my videos before.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch the Oregon Brewers Fest video with John and I, she's in the last 10 seconds of that.
She's great.
And she makes a great appearance.
Yeah. Shannon, she's the owner of this place.
Yep.
Fantastic person.
Yep.
I love them. The great thing about Barrel and Keg, too, is that not only just beer, they also have about, I think, 18 selections of wine on tap. They have a great bottle selection for you to come in and try, and a great wine cellar. It's fantastic. They also are the very first food truck in Salem.
They do what's called the food truck pod, and they have a parking lot out back with typically around 6 to 8 food trucks. So basically you come here, you have a beer, and they have the menus for the food trucks on the table here, and you can order whatever you want. That's actually what we're eating right now is some of the beer battered fries from one of the food trucks.
It's great. You can even order it from your phone, too.
Yeah. And I gotta say, these fries are fantastic. I don't know who made them, but thank you.
No, but it's very nice. Crispy. That's what I like. It's got that crispy.
And real good flavor.
Yeah. I mean, it almost like it has almost a little bit of batter on it, you know?
Yeah.
On top of just the regular
really good fries.
Potato fry. Yeah. It's fantastic. So just wanted to give another quick shout out to the place we're at.
Jacob says he does not want unsolicited dongles. I don't blame you, really.
I hate dongles.
I have to carry 3 dongles with me on a daily basis. One of them is this HDMI and USB adapter that I can also charge my MacBook while plugging in a single USB device to it. I have another one that is a USB-C to 3-port USB 3 with an Ethernet adapter, and that is so I can do hardline Ethernet when I'm working with network devices or whatnot. But notice I didn't say it has a USB-C on it because I can't charge it while I'm using that dongle. And then I've also got a little single USB one that I can plug in a single device to. I'm a dongle whore.
So how much did that adapter cost you and all those adapters?
That adapter was $69. That one adapter was $69.
Oh
the other adapter was $49, and I think the single USB is $30.
Genius Apple at the same time. Everyone
John,
hates
it
them.
just works.
No, it's so stupid. That is the Budweiser.
Whoa.
Of dongles. Of computers.
Boy, you're lucky you drove yourself here today. I would not be driving you home right now. All right.
Oh, this is funny.
Did anyone have a worse week this week than EA? Could anyone have screwed their company over more with public relations and the way... I mean, number one, EA is not a popular company to begin with. No one likes EA. No one likes the products that they do. We know they're overpriced. I liked them 10 years ago. When I played an EA game 10 years ago and it said it's in the game, I knew it was a solid game. I knew when I played Mass Effect that was going to be a great game.
Yeah.
I knew when I played Madden it was going to be a great game.
Because I got everything.
Right. The problem is... well, there's a lot of problems.
There's a lot of problems.
I can't say the problem.
No,
there's a lot of problems.
There's a lot but the major trend, I think, is these loot crates and everything going around. It's
not necessarily even loot crates because
I think that started it.
Steam has been doing loot crates for a while in some capacity, but it's cosmetic.
Yes. Well,
and therein lies, I think, the key difference is you could buy a loot crate from Dota 2 or Counter-Strike, and you can get a hat.
It's quirky. It's
and
quirky,
maybe you'll get a rare hat. Maybe you'll get a hat that no one else has, and that's cool. But it doesn't help my gun aim better or apply more damage or
I'm going to live for the next 2 minutes. I'm going to get an HP boost,
right,
or anything like that.
What EA has done is they've taken Battlefront 2 and they've turned it into a freemium mobile game that they still charge you $60 up front for. But then the advancement within the game is so flippin' ridiculous as to be literally impossible. So you have to buy these loot crates and premium upgrades in order to just play the damn game.
Oh, it's stupid. And I think even you too, Jeff, we're just casual gamers.
Right.
I see something fun. Oh, I want to purchase that, and I'm going to play it for a little bit.
Right. I get between usually about 4 hours a week. That's usually my game time per week.
That's like mine per month with newborn.
Well, you got a newborn. Yeah, I have a newborn too.
You just have a newborn.
Yeah.
But
years ago I had a lot more time. I'd spend 10 hours a week playing or so.
I'm the guy that okay, wife's asleep. All right, I'm going to stay up till 6 a.m.
From 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Yeah,
that is Dad's golden hour.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and that's my life right now. I don't get much time, so I don't have the 40 hours to put into a game anymore. I can't list on my fingers how many games I've spent more than 40 hours playing in the last 8 years.
Oh, yeah,
I can't.
No. Well, I got two, but
I'm close.
They didn't have any of this. The games that I was, usually most of them are Battlefield or something like that, the first person shooter. But yeah, I'd say less. I think
Borderlands I sunk a lot into,
yeah,
and usually some Bethesda games. Usually like Skyrim, Fallout 4, Fallout 3.
Yeah, but I'd say maybe not 40, maybe 60 hours was the max. But
right.
But I bought the game, and that was it. I just bought the game because I was like, look, I bought it opening day or opening week. There's probably a sale, opening month. And then I was like, all right, great. I'm going to start playing with it. And half of these games, though, now I'm starting to play with them. I'm like, wait, how the heck did that person get that? How did he advance so fast?
Right.
There's no way this either has to be some Chinese kid or Asian kid playing nonstop all day, or just some guy in his mom's basement. And
now let's be clear. I'm an old Counter-Strike player. I'm an old StarCraft player.
Oh, yeah.
I'm okay with getting sniped from 50 feet across the map from a guy with a pistol doing a 360 and then flipping me off and teabagging me when he's done. I'm totally cool with that. That is my life experience on Counter-Strike. Yeah, you got that shot off once. What I am not okay with is the thought that I paid more money, so my character is going to have an advantage on you. And this comes from a guy who has more money than time. If I wanted to, I could sink hundreds of dollars into a game, and I could beat the little 12-year-old snobs who are dominating me at Battlefront or Call of Duty or whatever else. The sickening part about this is the way they went about implementing the progression system. Basically, you bought the base game for $60, which came with half the heroes. Or you bought the expanded version for $80, which came with all the heroes. Now, the heroes are not unlocked. No. That would be too simple. No. They cost either in-game currency, or you have to craft items to get them, or you have to just buy the heroes outright.
After you paid for the game and the expansion.
To unlock one hero, there was a Reddit thread this week that said to unlock Darth Vader, I have to either pay $200 in-game currency, real-world money, or I have to spend 40 hours grinding on this game to unlock one character. One.
It is Darth Vader.
It is Darth Vader, but Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker were the same price. And then Lando, Han, and Leia, I believe, were just 80% of that price. And then Chewbacca and a couple others were 70% of that price.
Should have been like 100 hours.
Oh, he totally should have been. Totally should have been. Han shot first.
Oh, yeah.
He deserves that badass status. The problem is if you look at the progression of characters and the progression of unlock, I need to grind for 40 hours to unlock Darth Vader. I need to grind for 40 hours to unlock Luke Skywalker. you're already beyond the total amount of time in my life I've spent on Borderlands 2.
How long does the game take to even play?
That's so.
I think we have some statistics.
Go find the Reddit thread. If you haven't found the Reddit thread, go look it up. EA set a record this week for number of downvotes, but I'm just going to point to this, which is some of the aftermath of that Reddit thread. Well, let's actually jump back here. GameSpot said, "How much do I get for $100 of progression?"
Oh yeah.
So I spent $100 on loot crates essentially. What can I get? The answer is not much.
Couple guns.
The answer is a couple of guns and maybe one low-level character. The answer is not, I get to play all the characters. The answer is not, I unlock everything. The answer is not, I only have to play for 40 hours and I unlock everything. The answer is I get to unlock one character and 2 guns. For $100. A Reddit user went ahead and did all of the math required for the frequency of cards, the frequency of parts, the frequency of crates, the frequency of how much money you earn per match, versus the loot crate value of all that put together. He determined you could either play the game for 4,528 hours.
This is the whole game.
4,528 hours to unlock everything within the game, or you could pay $2,101.35 of real-world money on top of your $60 or $80 game purchase to play as Darth Vader.
Totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
Totally worth it. It's just to do the choke force hold. That's it.
Right.
$2,000.
Right.
It.
Now, to be clear, I don't support the argument of we should regulate this as gambling. You do not want the gambling oversight body to get their fingers into the gaming world. You don't want it. You don't want that oversight. You don't want those regulations. You don't want it. Trust me. What I do think is companies need to back off. Companies need to understand that they're going to make, and I think they said the upper 0.5% of users for in-game currency spends $10,000.
No.
On loot crates, on cosmetic upgrades.
Okay, cosmetic, but what?
$10,000.
Are these the Arabian princes that are emailing me all the time?
They must be. They've got a fortune waiting overseas for you. All you need to do is send them the import tax, and it's yours.
That's it. You know, they want to buy my car, and they're going to send a guy over to collect it with a cashier's check, and I can hold the rest after shipping.
Totally.
Now, wait, didn't EA, though, say, or was this Reddit user, was this before or after they lowered everything?
Oh, this was after.
Oh, my God.
Not only was this after.
I thought this was before.
Nope, this was after. This was after this is only 15 hours ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Not only was this after the new currency came in, EA went, whoa. Okay, guys, we hear you. We hear you don't want to spend 4,528 hours unlocking everything in the game. We understand. Tell you what, we're going to lower the price of everything in the game by 75%.
So, which sounds great.
What they didn't tell you is that they also lowered the revenue that you can get from the game and in-game currency and random drops and crafted items by 75%. So that's like saying, tell you what, you didn't want to spend $100. You were only making $1 a match. We're going to go ahead and lower the price to $25, but we're only going to give you a quarter a match. That was their response.
Yep. So we're saying, hey, screw you. We're doing the exact same amount, but we're going to hope the dumb people that can't do math.
That's precisely it.
Enjoy. And you think you're still getting a deal. And EA is a friendly family company.
Right. And to those of you who have been sticking it to EA, continue to do so.
Yeah.
Don't buy into this crap. Don't buy into the...
Not a torrent guy, but Battlefield 2 might want to torrent and crack a little bit.
I'm not a torrent guy,
but I wouldn't feel bad if I did this.
Right. if you want to run it for a trial run,
yeah.
Make sure it runs on your computer first, and make sure that you're going to want to get through the progression. For I don't advocate torrenting. Please don't do that.
Don't do it. But still, wink. No, just kidding.
Sail the 7 seas.
Yes.
The vast
majority.
Yo ho.
Yeah, yo ho. Yeah, EA, whatever.
Yeah. So to those of you who are sticking to EA, continue sticking it to EA because they did nothing. Their announced changes literally meant nothing for what the in-game currency, for what the progression system, for how quickly you can earn things actually matters in your real life. Don't buy this game. Don't buy. And
I mean, I guess if you're a huge Star Wars fan,
right.
and it's not like we're not. I love Star Wars. Jeff way more than myself, but way more than myself. But I can quote a few lines. Luke Skywalker was purple, right? He had a purple lightsaber. I'm pretty sure he had a purple lightsaber. I'm sure.
Thank you for joining us on the stream today. John will no longer be joining us.
We're having mic difficulties. Oh my God.
Salem police found one dead in a random taproom parking lot. Suspect still at large. No, we can go back and forth on Star Trek. We can.
Although you haven't watched the new Discovery, have you?
No, I have not.
I will say, though, the last 3 to 4 episodes, we're getting slightly off topic here, but last 3
let's go with it. I've bashed EA enough for one podcast. We'll get back to him next week.
I would say the last 3 episodes were not bad for Star Trek Discovery. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm a big Star Trek fan, but and if you've ever noticed, Jeff is actually a huge Star Trek fan. If you can't pinpoint the things behind most of his
no one has
videos.
Pointed them out yet. No one.
Yeah.
No one.
But there was actually even one episode.
I've been putting one additional item in the background until someone points it out.
I even saw the doll you put. I noticed that. But
I have an 8-inch Picard as well.
That's awesome. There was
he talks.
So the winter finale or the fall finale just aired of Star Trek Discovery, and there were 9 episodes, and one episode could have been a standalone. Hey, this is the standard Star Trek episode because it had basically nothing to do with the story.
Right. It was character development.
It was very character development,
yeah.
which is great. Unfortunately, it took 9 episodes to do character development.
I will say that's kind of a staple of Star Trek, though, is the seasons are typically 25 episodes long, and 18 of those are character development.
Yeah.
And then you get 7 really, really good episodes per season.
I would say this season of 9, 2 to 3. That's not bad.
Yeah.
For 9 episodes, although they are just breaking canon after canon after canon.
I will say it compares favoritively to season 1 of The Next Generation.
Oh, God. Season 1 and season 2, I don't want to talk.
Don't watch Riker without a beard.
Oh, no. Don't even. Wesley. Oh, gosh. It's a horrible. Although, have you ever seen the meme of there's an episode where Q turns Will into an older kid, and then they have, here's what Will was supposed to look like, and here's what Will actually looks like.
Thank you.
You made it so.
El Polo Diablo. Someone's been watching the whole show.
Yes, we all know who the devil chicken is.
Yes, we know Devil Chicken. I won't announce who you are on air, but we know who you are, Devil Chicken.
If any of you are old gamers.
By the way, I called you before I knew who you were in real life. I asked John, is this who I think it is? And he goes, yeah, it totally is.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
If you've ever played Monkey Island,
Yep.
It's a great screen name. I laughed the first time I ever heard him put that. But yeah.
Rest in peace, LucasArts.
Oh God. Yeah.
Now we have EA. Full circle.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah. No, for Star Trek fans, if you can get past the mindset of canon and everything, and all the they have so much better technology.
Can I get past the glittery Klingons?
No, you can't. I'm sorry, you can't. The last episode, though, so for all of episode 1 through 8, they were speaking this really horrible Klingon, like a really slow Klingon.
Yeah.
And then finally, episode 9, the main character.
Someone goes, "Hey, why don't you talk at normal speed?"
Well,
it's okay.
Well, what it was the main character, I believe her name is Michael, busts out who's the human Vulcan, it's horrible, who has no emotion, who throughout the series shows more and more emotion, busts out the universal translator finally to understand the Klingon dialect, which contradicts Enterprise.
Right.
And
it contradicts Enterprise, and it contradicts the original series.
Original and everything.
Because this is supposed to be set after the original
10
series.
10 years prior to Kirk.
10 years prior to Kirk.
10 years prior to Kirk.
Okay.
And episode 7.
Not that Enterprise was canon.
No. But
no.
No. So in the episode 7 finally mentions Spock. Again, but
who's like 7 years old at this time.
Yes. No, he was already in the academy. He was already it's horrible. Like things are just thrown out left and right.
Leonard Nimoy is rolling in his grave.
So it's just horrible. And finally, episode 9, she finally breaks out the translator, and then they start speaking English. And we're just like, thank goodness, but you're still glitter. You're still pale.
You're
white.
still shimmery.
Yeah, you're great.
As Worf said, we don't discuss it with outsiders.
Right? They look like vampires from. What's that?
Twilight.
They look like vampires with Twilight, with like bones sticking out of their front. It's horrible. They have super long fingernails where they're trying to enter stuff in the keypad, and they're just hand doing it. It's horrible. Although there was one cool aspect I actually really did like was how they explained the cloaking devices. And it was
the fact that their ships are made out of wood, but they still can cloak.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm on board. Let's go.
What it was there was one ancient house that figured it out, but they kept it secret for themselves as the Empire was not formed, and so they kept it for themselves. They never explained how they got it, but they kept it for themselves.
Was it House of Moog, or
No.
which house was it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
The house dies in the first episode.
Oh, that's lame.
Right. Yeah. So, but. Then the Klingons they capture that. It's called the Ship of the Dead.
Okay.
And so, which the outside of the shell is covered in the dead crew. See, now that's a Klingon thing to do. That is a very Klingon thing to do. So then the person who eventually takes over the ship shares the technology and says, "Hey, if you dedicate your household to me, I will share this technology with you," and that's how he unites the Klingon Empire.
Okay.
So kind of, I was like, okay, I thought that was a little.
If you're going to give canon to the formation of the Klingon Empire, I understand that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing about this series is there are little things here. They're like, I'll give you that.
Right.
But everything else, this is horrible. This is stupid. You're going off. I'm still gonna watch it though. I'm a Star Trek fan.
I haven't watched it yet. I will eventually watch it.
You catch up now.
To give some context, I have a 4-year-old and a 5-month-old at home.
I have a 10-month-old.
It took me almost 3 years after Breaking Bad finished to finish Breaking Bad.
That's bad.
I just finished season 2 of Rick and Morty.
Horrible.
I have not watched Silicon Valley beyond the first 5 episodes. I'm 5 episodes into Silicon Valley. You will understand once your kid grows a little bit bigger and a little bit more mobile, and I don't have time anymore.
I work in an office.
I'm in
lunch hour.
I am in Archer.
Last season was horrible, but
I'm in Archer Vice.
Not skip Vice. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was.
It
is. I should say, because I think I'm in episode 8 of it right now.
Yeah, it was. I believe actually it was even the worst rated season of Archer.
Yeah, I will say I loved the. Oh God, what episode was that? He finally gets the car. Which episode was that?
I don't remember. I watched it live, so it's been a couple months.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I tried to forget Archer Vice. No, you were talking Vice. I thought you were talking about the one where he goes back in time.
No.
Oh,
Vice.
Archer Vice is not too bad. The one where he goes back in time, that's the next season.
Okay.
That's the worst.
So I should just skip to season 6.
And they haven't even aired it yet.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, so the end of Archer Vice goes into the next season 5, and it's all a dream.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's a dream.
Really?
The whole season's a dream.
Really?
It was horrible.
God.
Though, if you haven't watched Rick and Morty, are you into Squidbillies at all? If you're not into Squidbillies, even if it has nothing to do with nerding,
I've watched them a couple times.
It's fantastic.
I've never dove in.
All right, it's fantastic.
Okay.
But that just started up too, but it's more nerding off.
Okay. I think that's as good a place as any
I
to,
think it's a good, it's
to stop. I'm out of beer finally.
So am I.
Thank you, Barrel and Keg.
Thanks, Barrel and Keg.
Kelso for Kelso. Woo!
And these fries.
These fries are amazing. The beer was amazing. The place is amazing.
Fantastic.
I love the location. It's a really cool atmosphere. Good music, good food, good beer.
Yep, good company.
Yeah, good company.
Pet friendly.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I think there were 5 dogs at its peak when I was in here tonight.
Yep.
I got here about 6 o'clock tonight. I've just been kind of hanging out, drinking beer. Really fun place. So bring your dog. Come on downtown if you're ever down here. Thank you all for joining us. Next week will be regular time back in my house. I know, kind of a letdown. I believe Rhett will be back on the show. It should be a good episode. We'll see. Day before Thanksgiving, 8 o'clock Pacific. Join us. So, John, anything else before we go?
I think that's about it. Drink up.
Drink up. Thanks, guys. See you next time.